You know your friend who's getting a bit thin on top, or the colleague whose hair is starting to recede? I'm sure it doesn't bother you, but very often it will bother them. Just because hair loss is a very, very common thing doesn't mean that it can't have a huge impact on a person. Now, I've got 3 people here with me who have something in common. They've all been devastated by the effect of their hair loss, but they each decided that they would do something about it. So I want you to welcome, please, hairdresser Shay Dempsey. You're very welcome, Shay. We've got retail worker Karina Cunningham, and we have construction worker Paul Cahill, and as well as which, at the end, we have Dr. Maurice Collins, who specialises in this particular area. Shay, as a hairdresser, right?
Yes.
You're very conscious of how much hair you have and how much hair your customers have.
Yes.
When did your hair start to
Well, I'm 40 now.
Yeah.
So about 27, 28 years of age, I had this huge head of like Def Leppard hair gone wrong, you know, big curls and the whole lot. And again, you know, the bathroom sink and everything started to just finally really start to come out. So, you know, as you said, in my game, I mean, it's a very, very young business that I'm involved in, and it's very much sort of like stylized in what we do. So I was very conscious, like, oh my God, these recession areas coming through here, and I wanted to do something about it.
All right, now how obvious was it? Look at the picture there.
Yeah, there you go, look at that. Well, you can see I had like huge recession areas in the sides, and also to the top area. This whole thing was going, you know. And I look at people's faces all the time about like profiles, and when I took that off, I really didn't like what I saw, you know. Yeah. What I saw myself personally was just like, oh no, I can't.
All right, now we look at you now, we can't see any apparent loss of hair because you've had something done.
Yeah.
So this is, what we're looking at now is the map.
Absolutely. So that's the map really of what, you know, myself and Maurice had said, well, Maurice especially had come up with sort of saying, look, these recession areas are really going to go back. We need to fill that in. We really need to work on those areas there so as we can sort of, you know, prolong what's going to happen.
Now, you are one-to-one with your customers in terms of hair loss. And I mean, people would probably share with you. They say, is it my shampoo? There's a lot of hair in the sink. How affected are people by it?
I think especially men really sort of when they come into the salon, they sort of slowly open up. So when I start to cut the hair, then they will sort of say to me, maybe mention a product. What do you think? Am I going a little bit fine here? You often have people that will also hang on to certain things like the drag over. I mean, the little comb over that was there before.
I think we have some pretty terrifying examples of the comb over. Which
but the comb over is one of those things that they're not so fashionable now, but there still are people there that are still hanging on to that little bit of hair. And like also you'll have guys that will just sort of keep some sort of hair just to keep a hairline, just to nearly keep the hairline that, you know, will always give you that little bit of youth.
I mean, this is a comb over now we're looking at.
I mean, that's the full-on comb on, you know, I mean, you know, that's really, you know, look at that. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty horrific stuff, but I mean, you know...
And that's what he actually looks like.
But again, he feels a hell of a lot better with that comb over because he doesn't see that hairline. He just has created his own hairline by, you know, dragging the whole thing over. And again, people hang on to something that will just give them that guide that visually, to them, when they look in the mirror, they feel an awful lot more confident.
We have an example of that as well, I think, to show where, you know, there's just a couple of strands of hair.
All you need are a few strands for somebody. There you go. You know, he feels better because when he looks in the mirror, he still feels like he's got some sort of a hairline. But I mean, it's like lots of things. If you've got hair and you shave your hair off, you still have a hairline. But if you don't have anything and you shave it off, you feel, oh my God, there's nothing there. And it's very serious.
Have you come across in your salon people who have tried things and kind of apparently, you're the hairdresser, and you see they've failed? Yeah,
and I've seen really, really bad jobs where people have gone to so many different, like, desperate measures to try and get things done or gone to the wrong people. And some of them are really, really gruesome and ugly, you know.
Right.
And that makes, you know, they're not, you know, their confidence isn't good anyway, but now, I mean, they're really sort of just hit rock bottom.
All right. We'll stay with the guys. Paul, what about you? When did you start to lose some of your hair?
I started to recede in my 40s. Gracefully, but then they got quicker.
And I mean, why did you worry about that? You know, at the age of 40, you know, people do tend to have a little bit of recession in their hair. Why were you worried about it?
It sort of tended to make me look older, you know what I mean? I knew that once it started to recede and I was losing confidence in myself. And hair was a big thing for me because I played the music, you know, I played in a band and I really wanted to still look a bit young so I could hang on to that music for as long as I possibly could, you know what I mean?
Now you tried something. What did you try?
I tried almost everything. I actually looked at every possible thing in the book And there was one particular experience. I went into this place, and it's one of the main reasons I'm on here tonight is to tell this sort of thing. But I went to this transplant, I went to this place to get my hair done. They told me it was fantastic, it was all going to be perfect. Anyway, when I went in, they actually...
How much, first of all? Did they ask you for money up front?
Sorry, sorry, they asked me for it was €2,500 for the actual job.
Yeah.
And you had to pay up front. You couldn't pay 500 and have a look at yourself or anything like that.
Yeah.
You had to give the money up front, so which I did. Anyway, it took 3 weeks after taking a sample of my hair, you know. So I ended up in this room, cutting a long story short, I ended up in the room where they stuck a wig on my head, you know. And I'm sitting there, and there's a hairdresser cutting it to suit. And there's one thing I didn't really want was a wig.
But you didn't know it was a wig you were getting?
No, I was told it was this graphic sort of laser treatment and the whole thing, you know. And they actually cut the... Now, it took 10 years off me, but it was a wig, so I knew. I'm looking in the mirror as they're doing it, and I said, this is coming off when I get home, you know.
Yeah. And was it stuck on?
They glued it on top of already hair I had, you know. So, and I'm saying, what's going to happen to the hair underneath that? Is it going to die, or is it going to, you know? So what I did then after that, I'm walking down the stairs after getting it done. I look 10 years younger. There's nothing surer than that. I did look 10 years younger. But I said to myself, I'll have a bit of fun. I'll go down the stairs, and my wife was waiting outside, so I rang her, and I asked her, could she come up to the certain spot where I was, I won't mention the name, and she actually walked by me.
Didn't recognise you?
She didn't recognise me, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she still walked by me. She didn't, you know. And I said, hello, Marion, it's me, like, you know. And she just, what? And she fell around the place laughing, you know what I mean? So.
And did you go to work?
So she said, look, don't mind me, maybe we just try it out on the guys in work, you know. So I went into work, and one of the young lads, I said I'll try it out on him before I really get into the other boys, you know. So he had his head down, he was bending down, picking up a wheelbarrow, and I said, Colin, I'm back, go up there and do this. And he says, yeah, no problem, Pop. And he looked up and he says, oh, what? And he just fell into a fit of laughter. And I went back to the wife and I said to her, listen, Marion, this has to come off. So it took me 20 minutes to get it off with a lot of pain. And I was €2,500 less in my pocket.
All right. So that was a painful lesson in every,
it was,
financially and physically painful. Karina, what about you? When did you start to worry about hair loss?
After my second pregnancy, my hair fell out. Now, that's quite a normal thing, but it just didn't grow back again. Really more or less around the crown of my head. The rest of my hair wasn't too bad. So I lived in hats for a long time. Berets, baseball caps with ponytails out of it. But I didn't actually realise...
So this was you then?
Yeah, but I didn't realise how bad it had gotten until I went to Maurice here when he took the photographs. I actually got shocked when I saw the photographs of my own scalp.
Because you were only seeing yourself from the front.
Yeah.
You didn't see the top view, which everyone else could see.
No, they couldn't, because I was wearing hats.
Yeah. But if you took off the hat or the beret or...
I actually lived around daytime socialising more so than, you know, going out at night. Because it did alter my whole life.
Did you try to get all the solutions? Did you try...
I tried everything. I got blood tests done. I thought it might have been thyroid. Everything I tried was unsuccessful. Over-the-counter products, doctors' products. Nothing worked until I went to Dr. Collins here.
All right. Now, the hair you have at the moment, is that your real hair?
Well, this is Beverly.
Beverly?
Yeah. I bought Beverly in in May last year after going to Dr. Collins because I'm on treatment, and the treatment that I take, it kind of leaves the residue on your scalp. So you would need something like this.
Right.
If you're
So
a
how
woman.
many Beverlys and her sisters
Well,
do
I
you
have
have?
3 Beverlys, the exact same Beverlys, but I have another 2. One has GHD curls, and then I have a Barbarella that flicks out. She's pretty good with her beret. She looks good. I got used to wearing them, but it's really only masking the problem that's underneath. But it's healing at the moment, and it's getting better.
We'll talk about what the process is. Now, Maurice Collins, you come across people all